Are you ready to get your sports banter on? Brian Hemminger, love child of Albert Einstein and Howard Cosell, with a body chiseled by Zeus himself. Brandon Sharples, a man who could beat Mike Tyson in a spelling bee. Together, they form the At Odds Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the At Odds Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brian Hemminger, and we have a very fun show in store for you guys today. No crazy guests or anything, but just a lot of crazy shit happened in the past week, and we are going to talk all about it. Joining me today is my trusty co-host, Silky Smooth Brandon Sharples. How you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad. I am your handsome co-host. I am even handsomer because I got a new haircut. Kind of a little Chuck Liddell-ish. It looks pretty good. I'm excited tonight. We have a lot. It's a little bit, yeah. Kind of.
You need those. You need the fire shorts, and then, or no, the ice shorts, and you'll be set.
I'm the ice man.
And a little beer gut.
I do got a little beer gut.
Oh,
I
there you go.
Dad body, remember?
Yep.
Hey, guess
Perfect.
what just came through? That invitation in my email. It just came here.
It took long enough.
But yeah. What'd you guys do over Easter? Anything crazy?
My grandpa Hemminger had his 87th birthday party last weekend, and then we had just some random Easter family shit. I don't go to church anymore because I'm a heathen.
You're not a heathen. You're just a realist. No, we just had a little family thing out at my parents' house. Rode some four-wheelers and dirt bikes and hillbilly out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's about it, man.
I did go to karaoke last Friday, and I got to hear my first official feedback of the episode of the podcast, actually. It was delivered to me by none other than Scott Avery himself, a fellow Oak Harbor 2004 graduate.
Yeah.
You want to hear this?
Sure,
right.
Man.
He said, "Your show has a lot of segments. I would listen to your show more often if there was a segment called Sharples is Quiet for 40 minutes.
Jesus. Anything else?
Yeah. Rich from Milwaukee sent me this one. He said, I listened for about 20 minutes, but got turned off a little bit by Johnny McSwears a lot.
Oh my God. He's got to be 56 fucking years old. Johnny McSwears a lot. Dude, I should trademark that. I like Johnny Football. Johnny McSwears a lot. I'm trademarking that, and I'm going to thank the Rich from Milwaukee. Hey, at least we got somebody in Milwaukee. No, fuck Scott. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Listen to this, dude. I'd like to see people do what we're doing. You know, they won't because they either don't have the balls to put themselves out there, or they're too fucking lame with no meaningful existence with the personality of a dead moth. They are more than welcome to call into our show and give their perspective on shit. But I doubt they will because they're lame as fuck and they're too pussy to express themselves to the public, you know, fearing that somebody's going to disagree with them. So it's pretty much like nobody likes anybody who's different from the average person, you know what I mean? They're really pretty complacent. You know, nobody likes to hear.
There's this great quote about by Teddy Roosevelt. Have you ever heard it?
No. What is it?
It's called "The Man in the Arena." Actually, it's all right. It's a little long, but I want to read it because I see this everywhere. Like whenever somebody wants to kind of fight back when people are criticizing them, this is kind of what they say. This is taken from like a speech in 1910, but it's good. It's from Teddy Roosevelt, former U.S. president. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end of the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that is so true.
Quote.
You know, everybody has something to say. And this, I'm not saying we're famous by any means, but when you start putting yourself out there and people, start to see you doing things that maybe they would never be able to do or want to do or couldn't never attempt to do, they got to find ways to talk shit. You know what I mean? People don't like success. I had that at one of my rants before, and that's just the way it is. Like I said, it's like, I'm not going to change who I am. This is my show. If somebody wants to have a different show, they're more than fucking welcome to try and do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel.
I have my own different shows, but this is one where I get to really kind of let loose, be my full self.
This is real people right here. This is how real people act.
We don't hold back on this show.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my stories are entertaining. I get a lot of positive feedback on them, and I'm sorry for the Milwaukee brother for cussing so much, but I'm really not sorry. But you know what? I can go on Facebook Live and on a few minutes' notice and get a shit ton of views and a couple hundred comments and an hour and a half sit down of bullshit. And so suck my cock, Scott. You want to hear Hemm? Hey, if he wants to hear you rap badly to some Will Smith for a couple hours, he can fucking do that.
Yeah. Hey, I almost pulled that out at karaoke last Friday, but ran out of time. I do want to say, though, in terms of viewership and everything, last week's episode was our most popular episode of all time. Got a couple hundred listens because of probably because of our guest, Sean Loeffler, who stopped by and was fucking hilarious for over an hour. But I do want to provide an update for those interested in how he did. He had his U.S. boxing debut, and he did come up short. He didn't get knocked out or anything. He lost a decision, 3-1, or the final judging scores were 39-37. So he lost a decision, but down but not out. I hope that he keeps going.
Yeah, me too. I was really hoping that he would win and keep going, and we can get him on the show. While he's still on this fight streak, and but I'll still he's still welcome back on this show anytime in my view. He's
anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was hoping to fight like Roy Jones Jr. and James Toney, and like he had like a grand plan.
Yeah.
And then get some names under his belt, and then fight for the world title and shit. I mean, that could have been wild.
Some people may think that's outlandish, but what's wrong with having goals, man? It doesn't hurt anybody, and if he believes it in his mind, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So.
All right. Well,
cool.
let's move. Yeah.
I was talking about the show. That was cool that we that was our best show. I think a lot of people that didn't get to see that or hear that show, they need to go check it out. It is on our YouTube page. Yeah. It's on SoundCloud. We have the full interview on YouTube, and then obviously the full episode is everywhere. So definitely check it out. It's our longest episode too. It was over 2 hours. So, but hey, when over an hour of that is just the interview, not much you can do about that. I wasn't going to make Sean leave. He was awesome. No, that was great. That was a great segment. Go ahead. What do we got coming up?
All right. In today's episode, here are a couple topics we'll be going over. Number one, and we'll be getting to this one right very soon, Aaron Hernandez, the whole crazy shit that went down with him today. He is no longer among the living. And then we have Steve Stevens, the Easter Day slaughter asshole. So that's two. We're going to be going back to back talking about suicide. So trigger warning, people.
Yeah.
We're also going to be talking some NBA playoffs and the violent protests that erupted in Berkeley, University of Cal Berkeley, and the Antifa assholes, and all the shit that's going on with that. And then, of course, we'll have some Rant of the Week and some Hemm's Gems. So without further ado, let's talk Aaron Hernandez. First things first, good riddance. Fuck that guy. All right?
Yep.
I mean, he had the world at his fingertips, and despite all that, he just couldn't stop murdering people. And I don't care that he got acquitted most recently with the double homicide from the drive-by. He killed those assholes too. They just didn't have enough evidence. So
yeah,
I
they had
get that out of the way. He killed at least 3 people.
He had a horrible eyewitness. It was the only thing that the prosecution had, and that dude that has a bunch, prior drug charges. He's going up on a robbery charge himself. He's no model citizen. When you rest your entire case on a piece of shit to convict another piece of shit, that's your sole case. You're not going to win. I knew he wasn't going to. I knew he wasn't going to get convicted.
And it's not surprising. I mean, when you are a piece of shit, you're not exactly hanging out with the high society, So,
no.
But let's talk a little bit about what happened today. I mean, he just had that double homicide acquittal, and then boom, he goes and offs himself, hanging himself in his prison cell like this morning. So he's gone. But I want to get your thoughts on all that shit, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the fallout, because there is some crazy news that came out because of that could affect a lot of things. So first things first about him offing himself.
Well, first things first, like you said, good riddance. Fuck that guy. He ruined a lot of people's lives, and he's a wannabe gangster. But at the end of the day, can you hear that outside? That's thunder. Is it coming through your earphones?
Nope.
I got some
good filter.
Yep. But anyway, he disgraced Stone Cold Steve Austin. He put the 3:16 Bible verse on his forehead with a red marker before he hung himself. So he disgraced an American icon before he decided to hang himself. This is another thing that needs to be added to that guy's fucking list. But anyways, he had Tebow, Brady, Belichick, Edelman, all these positive role models all around him. Welker, all that. He had money. He had a beautiful daughter, a fiance. Seems to have a good, family that cared about him. And none of that had any effect on him. Where other people would see that, all those characters with high moral values around him doing the right things, they would see that they have a child, and that should change the way they act. All that money he worked his ass off to get, to finally basically set up his family for a couple generations at least. None of that mattered. He just wanted to be a fucking thug, man. He just wanted to impress people that literally don't mean shit in this world. Not only to him, but anybody that's in the community. He was just an insecure motherfucker. He always thought everybody was going to test him. That's why, those dudes just spilled their drinks on him. And, he had to prove himself by, rolling up on him with a gun and killing him. Just because there were spilled drinks, apparently. I mean, that's how insecure can you be that you got to kill people over that? He just always thought people were testing him, and he just always wanted to be that thug, that hard ass, and he couldn't just ever just be a normal dude with money and a family. And he's just a sad sack of shit. And I don't get it, man. It's this glorified gangster life, man. Have you ever noticed that? We glorify this gangster life, on TV. We make it seem like it's an acceptable culture. They don't realize that people in shitty neighborhoods, like in Chicago, where people are dying at a higher rate than Afghanistan, they don't get that gangster life is horrible for a lot of people. That it's a constant anxiety state. It's a constant, reminder that they don't have a lot to live for. And people glorify this by these fucking rappers that come from money and come from a situation that's nowhere near that. And they've glorified this gangster status to where everybody wants to dress like it, listen to that music, pretend there's something that they're not. And it's leading to the culture that we have now. That's my personal opinion. So, and that goes back to Aaron Hernandez, where he had this glorified look on the gangster life, even though he didn't even need to be there anymore. He kept going back to it because he thought it was something that was cool. He thought it made him legit.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was something that he thought was cool. I just think he was incredibly insecure. So if anybody ever did anything that he didn't like, or if he ever felt slighted, he felt like he had to respond as harshly as possible. And that's just ridiculous. And he's paid the price. I mean, we heard some pretty ridiculous jokes. I don't know if you've heard any good jokes about his suicide, because fuck this guy. Let's have some laughs at his death. Did you hear anything funny on Twitter, the internet, whatever, when people were talking about that he's gone?
I just saw the one where it was like that NFL memes where it said like, I'm not even gonna get this right. It said like, injury update: Aaron Hernandez neck out indefinitely.
Yeah, that was a good one. I saw another one that said breaking news: Aaron Hernandez is gone.
Oh man!
And then, the other interesting news that came out was this is a ridiculous law in Massachusetts. Is if someone dies before they finish their appeals process, all the charges disappear. It basically encourages people to kill themselves. So, like, once it almost seems like because there's really no other reason he would kill himself, because why go through all the trouble to fight that double murder conviction while he's already going to do life for the murder of Boyd, the original one from 2 years ago, unless he wanted to just get acquitted of that and then boom, off himself before all his appeals had been used up. Because now you got to remember, the Patriots were able to keep a shit ton of his money because the guaranteed money, the signing bonus, like they signed him to like a 7-year, like $40 million deal right before all this shit happened. And they were able to keep a lot of it, almost all of it, because of the fact that he got charged. He broke like all kinds of things with the league. And now, because he's basically exonerated of it all by dying, they might have to pay his family a lot of money, because he's officially, according to the state, like he'd never done anything wrong.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And it's not the first time that's happened too. Like the dude that like ran Enron into the ground and fucked over like half the country. Yeah. He died of like a heart attack before he got convicted of all his charges, and like all the charges went away, and he didn't have to end up paying like $44 million in restitution back to the government.
Yep.
So
I read about that too. His family got all that stuff.
So seriously, it's like there's a loophole to get out of anything. Just die. That's so stupid.
He got his manager saying like, "Oh, he never killed himself. There's no way. I know him. He's just not wired that way." Motherfucker, did you know that he was going to murder people? If you did, it's your fault that he did it, and you didn't do anything about it. There's people that say Aaron would never kill himself. Well, you just gave the biggest reason why he would. He knows. Because, I want to tell anybody out there that thinks that he had a good shot at getting out of jail completely with this Odin Lloyd murder. He didn't. It takes an appellate court to literally look through your case and see discrepancies in the case that warrant a new trial, which is almost never going to happen in this case, because there was tons of physical evidence against Hernandez. So he would never have been, that conviction was never getting overturned. And Aaron Hernandez knew that. He knew he was up shit's creek. There was a less than 1% chance he was ever getting out of prison. He knew, somebody told him. I wonder if his lawyer had a long talk with him about this, because that dude's a scumbag. That Joe Baez, that dude is Johnny Cochran times 100. He's a piece of shit. He's the dude that he was Casey Anthony's lawyer and got her off that murder of her daughter. And rumor has it that he was banging Casey Anthony because she ran out of money, and he was like banging her for payment. So this lawyer, he has a track record of being a little scumbag. So I wonder if he sat down with Aaron, and Aaron brought this up, and he gave him the exact scoop on, well, if you kill yourself, this is what happens. You never know. But all these people that think Aaron everything has always got to be conspiracy. Nobody in this day and age can just die anymore. Have you noticed that? Nobody can just die. If they're well known, they can't die. Like Paul Walker died because some conspiracy. So his Porsche just automatically crashed into a fucking tree. You know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. I'm all about certain conspiracies, but some people just die, and that's just the way life is. Aaron Hernandez hung himself. You gave a perfect reason for him to do so. He had shit jammed against the door from inside of the cell. You can't do that if you get murdered, nobody can just pack shit against the door from inside the cell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he killed himself for money, for his family, because he knew he was fucked and he didn't have anything else to live for anyway, so he just wanted to give his daughter and fiance a life. That's it. So I get good on him for that, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, he's still an asshole. They better change their name, because if people find out, that's the little girl walking around with Aaron Hernandez money, I'm sure that they're going to get a lot of shit.
And his evil-looking fiance. I was talking to Brett about this on the phone.
That bitch is evil. She's like still standing by him. She was like supporting him in court during the more recent trial.
Dude, he killed her sister's boyfriend, and she still didn't even have her
fiance,
own family
not
back.
even boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was talking to Lob about her name's Cheyenne Jenkins, and I was telling Lob that I was like, yep, now he's dead. I get to go fuck his girlfriend. Because I think
she looked evil.
She looks evil, but she's got nice dark skin and a fat ass. So I figured, she looks evil. You can just, fuck the sins out of her, She's a horrible person. There's
always somebody that thinks they can change him. There's always somebody that thinks they can fix them.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't. You know what, man? She's not a girl that you want to bring home to the wife or to the family as a wife, though. She definitely looks evil. She's like the way she just looks like the most evil bitch ever. So it's fitting she's getting married to that dickweed.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are taking phone calls, and we do have the live chat room going. Brett Lobb does say that she is a basic bitch in the chat room. And if you do want to call in, our number is 347-850-8386. We will be taking calls all the way through the end of the episode. But I think we've talked the Aaron Hernandez situation to death. But speaking of murder and suicide, we had the whole Steven Stevens thing take place this weekend. It's absolutely bananas. It's crazy ass,
oh my God,
bald, bearded black dude just creates a Facebook live stream. Just goes, oh, I found one. Fish in a barrel. Gets out of his car. Freaking blows away some poor 74-year-old black guy that's just walking down the street. Shoots him in cold blood. Kills him. And then says that he's killed like 13 other people or 12 other people, and he's going on a rampage, and blames it all on some ex-girlfriend and his mom. And then
her name's Joy Lane.
Yeah, Joy Lane. And then just takes off and disappears. Nationwide manhunt for like 2 days until he killed himself yesterday. But now, obviously, the whole murder of the old dude is super fucked up. The video's out there. I watched most of it. I'm glad that I looked away right before he pulled the trigger, but then I saw the old dude lying on the ground in the pool of blood. It is fucked up. If you haven't seen it yet, don't watch it. It's not cool. It is. I'm mad that I even watched that much of it. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. I did watch the whole thing, but I didn't prepare myself for it. It was the most chilling thing I've ever seen in my life, period. And I've seen people die right in front of me, in the trauma room and stuff. And I tell you what, man, that was the worst thing I've ever seen, because the camera was right in his face. You just see the fear in his eyes, and you just see, this guy, it was just a nice old man. I had a conversation with my mom about this, and she told me that he had a nice little Easter thing with his family, and all he was doing was walking around picking up cans. Like, that was his thing. He liked to pick up cans and stuff. So he's just going it was a hell of a beautiful day. He's just going for a stroll to, pick up some cans, and he gets shot in the head by some disgruntled fat piece of shit over a girl. What a lame fuck. And when I saw that dude get shot, and when I saw what's on the ground, I almost threw up. Yep.
It's fucked up. And so we're going to lighten the mood a little bit by completely ripping on this fat asshole. Because, I mean, this guy could have gotten away with it. I mean, think about it. He had like a car with like temp license plates, a white car. He could have got it painted. He could have swapped some plates. The Ford Fusion is everywhere. And then he was a fat asshole with a giant beard. I mean, all he had to do was shave the beard. And people, they lost track of him. He was gone for like 2 days. I was updating like the manhunt post on Reddit trying to see, like, come on, have they seriously not caught this asshole yet? And I thought he was going to get away. They spread out the search zone to like 15 states. And then where do they find him? Fucking McDonald's. Like an hour and a half away. And this fat asshole who could have gotten away with murder just had to go grab a 20-piece of chicken McNuggets. Just think about this. This guy had a choice. He could have gone and escaped and lived off in the wilderness and gotten away scot-free. But motherfucking chicken McNuggets were calling to him. Like, it was like the angel and devil on his shoulder. He's like, the angel's like, yo, we could totally get away. Just keep driving. Shave your beard. Fucking lose some pounds. And then the devil's like, yo, man, I'm fucking craving some chicken nuggets. Man, I have to eat these fucking nuggets. Let's order a 20-piece. I'm so goddamn hungry. And that's what happened.
I literally just pictured
goes to McDonald's and orders some chicken nuggets. And then the McDonald's people fucking catch him. They hold him, delay him as much as they can, call the police, and he goes into a fucking police chase and offs himself the second they stop his car. I mean, seriously.
Well, you know what happened was, like, they said, they knew it was him. They called the police and they said, we'll have to wait a couple minutes on your fries. And the dude straight up said, I don't have a minute. I need to go now. And he just took the nuggets and took off. And he drove away. But they held him enough time to get some cops over towards him.
Mm-hmm.
So think about this, though. That's got to be an amazing PR move for McDonald's.
Fuck
Not
yeah.
only they'd be like, you know what they should do? They should put Steve Stevens in a McDonald's shirt, and they should have him smiling with a fucking thing of nuggets and says, Steve Stevens chose 20 nugs over freedom. That's how good our nuggets are.
Yeah. He could have got away with
risk life.
Our nuggets catch murderers. They're so good.
People can't resist.
I would start a national, if they would let me and if I had enough money, I would get like a full page ad in the New York Times of like, thank you, McDonald's, for catching this fat asshole.
Hey, you'd be like, thank God they switched to all white meat chicken nuggets because they catch criminals.
Yeah, if it was still those old like chicken scraps where they made out of like chicken beak and shit, I don't think it would have worked. So they switched to the all white meat. You know, it would have really helped if they had some of that Szechuan sauce. I bet he wouldn't have been able to resist for even like an hour after he killed that dude.
I wonder when that's coming out.
The Mulan Szechuan sauce.
Szechuan sauce.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm telling you right now, it's coming because
Rick and Morty,
they're doing a live action. They're doing a live action of the Mulan movie, just like they did for Beauty and the Beast and Jungle Book. They're doing it in 2018. They're bringing the Szechuan sauce back. I'm calling it right now.
Bringing some live Asian chicks on screen. Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on fat asshole Steve Stevens?
Good riddance, you fucking cocksucker. Enjoy those nuggets.
I'm just glad that he didn't like take out anybody that I know, because I heard that he might go after the casino because the dude was like super indebted for gambling. Like he lost like his life savings multiple times at the casinos, and apparently the last time he was there, he was like out of control. Like Josh Netherland works over there, so like that'd have been fucked up if he just showed up there and started a rampage.
What, he lost a lot of money and went crazy or something?
Oh, he had a huge gambling problem.
Oh, I know. I read that. He said he was in. He said it himself. He said he filed bankruptcy because he lost all his money gambling.
Yep.
Playing the craps.
Gotta some self-control, people. You could turn into a serial killer.
Yeah, no shit. Don't kill anybody over a bitch, dude. Who cares?
Yeah, seriously.
Life's too short for that shit. But anyways, what we got next?
All right. Next up, NBA playoffs just started, so just lighten the mood a little bit. We've talked about back-to-back murderers and killed themselves, so let's talk guys bouncing a ball and throwing it into a hoop. So NBA playoffs have started. They're basically like 2 or 3 games into every, or 2 games into every series, and some games are doing their second round tonight. But any major surprises for you? Anything that you think is pretty interesting going through these first couple games?
A couple things. Boston's the number 1 seed. They're down 2-0, but I'm not really surprised by that because I don't think they're even that good.
Mm-hmm.
I know this record speaks for themselves. They're the 1 seed, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if you just look at their lineup top to bottom, it's just I don't really understand how that happened. So I wasn't expecting much out of them. Just like it's one of those things where the team just has a good regular season, and hats off to them. But if they lose the series, not going to blow me away. 2, I didn't think the Cavs have been looking too good, especially for having a big 3 like that. I think Washington's looking really good. They're tied with Atlanta right now, 91-91, late in the 4th. So we'll see where that goes. Houston Rockets crushed the Thunder, and Harden had a hell of a game, and Westbrook didn't really have a good game, but it's looking like it's kind of table to turn a little bit because Thunder's having a nice game right now, and Westbrook already almost has a triple-double at halftime. He has 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and 22 points.
That's ridiculous.
So he's putting on a fucking clinic right now, and Harden's not bad. He's at 16 points, 6 assists, 1 rebound, and 1 steal at halftime. But
Westbrook's issue is he's surrounded by garbage. Like I watched him play when I was in Phoenix against the Suns, and the Suns are one of the worst teams in the NBA, and they got blown out by 30 points. Those guys, it is basically Russell Westbrook and a bunch of complete scrubs.
Yeah,
I've never seen a team get carried harder than that team.
Who do you think's the second best player on that team?
I don't know, man. They had fucking Kyle Singler out there.
I started him on one of my lineups today just to get some cheap hardware in there.
Of course. But probably the Adams dude, I think. The big dumpy white dude.
He's Australian, I think. No, New Zealand. I think he's from New Zealand.
But
man, I wouldn't mind living in New Zealand.
Yeah, a couple things I have to say about the playoffs. I don't think Boston's bad. I just think the Bulls are a lot better than they've been playing all season, and they're finally healthy and have a lot of things going on for them. So they're playing well. And I was terrified for the Cavs. They played like complete dog shit in the first game against the Pacers. Like they won by 1 point, and the Pacers actually got a last-second shot off that could have won them the game, and they missed it. And that was at home. So I'm a little nervous. The Cavs played a lot better in the second game. Like Love, Irving, and LeBron all scored over 25 points. So I'm not super concerned about them. I think they'll do fine. But I still don't know if the Cavs are going to win the whole Eastern Conference. Like I predicted that Washington, I think, was going to win it. So we'll see if I'm right.
I think you said Toronto, didn't you?
I might have said Toronto. I know that Toronto actually got upset the first round.
I'm just going to be completely honest with our listeners. I don't really give a shit about the NBA. I think this is the worst. This is the worst season in sports. It's early baseball, and it's a 162-game season, so really don't give a fuck right now. And basketball sucks. It's boring, and everybody gets a foul every 2 seconds. You can't touch anybody. It's inconsistently reffed. What else is out there? Soccer. If you like soccer.
Hockey playoffs going, but again, I'm not a huge hockey fan.
Put it this way. I'm not saying I don't like hockey. I used to talk shit about it, but it's actually pretty exciting if you go to the games. But it's so unpopular that they don't even have a main tab on the ESPN page. You know what I mean? Their ratings are okay, but it's not something I'm looking forward to. I love football season, and I love like late season baseball into the playoffs for baseball. That's the best time in sports is playoff baseball and football.
We do have some more comments I'd like to read.
Sure.
Brett Lobb talking about Steve Stevens said he's loving it. Steve Major said he literally died after not getting his chicken tendies.
What else do we got?
Brett Love says Brian's impressions are on point tonight.
Oh yeah, you're on a roll tonight. Hey,
yeah.
I
had to get some of that shit off my chest, man.
Hey, I got a text from our listener Malia. It's another meme for Aaron Hernandez that says, "What are you gonna do tonight?" It's a picture of him. He goes, "Probably just hang out in my cell."
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm done with playoffs basketball right now. I'm sorry if you guys are excited about that, but I don't get.
Let's switch gears, yeah. Because I'm not crazy about playoff basketball either, but I just wanted to get through a little bit of it. All right, let's switch gears. There is one super crazy story that I think we could have some unique opinions on. Was they had another giant protest and riots and shit in University of Cal Berkeley this past weekend, and I don't know if you've been paying attention, like to our listeners. Yeah. I know Brandon has, but if you haven't been paying attention, this all started earlier this year when like right wing one of the leaders out there, Milo Yiannopoulos, a guy that basically is anti everything that normally liberals stand for. Like, he's gay, he's Jewish, so it's tough. They can't go after him with like their identity politics. And they tried to shut him down. Like, he was going to give a speech there, and a whole bunch of these people, they call themselves Antifa, anti-fascists, and they just had a huge violent demonstration. Riots broke out. People got pepper sprayed. A lot of people getting punched in the face and beat up and shit, and throwing Molotov cocktails and stuff. And they got the speech shut down, and they celebrated it everywhere. And then there was another like protest or something on March 4th, and that had a lot of violence. And then this time they had another demonstration, this time from like free speech advocates, and the Antifa people showed up, and I think the free speech guys had enough, and they just beat the fuck out of them. I mean, just absolute ass kicking. Now, I'm not going to say that I am totally on the side of the free speech people, because I mean, a lot of those guys represent like really hard right-wing alt-right stuff that doesn't really represent me as a person. I'm more of a progressive. But man, some of those Antifa dudes had it coming. I mean, they're basically these scrawny people with like bandito masks on to protect their identities, going around throwing fucking fireworks and smoke bombs and throwing glass bottles and shit at all these people. I mean, what did you expect? Did you really think that you were just going to get away with it forever, that they weren't going to respond? So I want to get your thoughts on this, Brandon, and I'm going to have a lot more to say about it.
Oh, yeah, man, we'll go back and forth on this one. Look, those fucking Antifa people, a lot of those kids don't even know what fascism is. I guarantee they didn't know anything about it until they just basically joined this cult following. That they have no idea what it even represents. They have, they have no idea what the etymology of the fucking term fascism means. They have no clue. And the mainstream media is so liberal that they're basically oversimplifying everything that's happened with these riots when it comes in terms of the Antifa kids. And they, they'll basically hone in on these right wingers or anybody that's Trump backers, because it's always Trump backers against these guys. And they basically make them out to be the instigators. When in reality, in my personal opinion, these Antifa people are just coming in, starting shit, like causing riots. I saw a pepper spraying a pregnant woman point blank in her eyes. I mean, what they do is they hide behind their, the cloak of immortality when it comes to not being able to be touched, because the media has their back, and it seems like the government's having their back because they were so anti-Trump. So finally, it got to the point where it just boiled over, and they started getting the shit kicked out of them over at Berkeley, recently. And the cops over there in Berkeley are standing there not doing anything now. So basically, these rioters used to have the cops in between them, kind of saving their ass, and they could act tough. Well, now they're forced to be face to face with these people that they've assaulted so many times in the past, and it's not working out well for them, and they're getting their asses kicked. And if you notice, the media is starting to say neo-Nazi, neo-right-wing, pro-Trump, white nationalist people punching Antifa members in the face. That is what you see on like CNN and stuff. Those kind of headlines instead of the truth. Yeah, maybe a KKK guy is ingrained in the crowd somewhere and punched somebody, but that doesn't represent the entire community of Trump backers, because I like Trump and I'm not that. And it's like, it's similar to what they say, like, don't put all Muslims into one category. Well, they put all Trump supporters in one category, and that's what the media is doing, and they're causing a lot of the issues that we see today. So that's just what I got from that. We'll keep going back and forth on this one.
I want to bring up one other interesting point is they, like, when you Google this thing, like you just type in like the protests and shit and riots and violence at Cal Berkeley, everything shows up is woman punched in the face at the riots. Because I mean, there's a video of a chick with dreadlocks getting blasted in the face by like one of the leaders of like the alt-right movement and shit. And that dude that punched her in the face is not a good person. Like, he's, you know, somebody that I vehemently disagree with in just about everywhere. But you know what? This bitch, like, is playing the victim card. And if you see the shit she was doing and saying before all this, she's out there saying she's going to go, what was it? Let me get the word exactly what she said. She's headed to Berkeley to disrupt the neo-Nazi white supremacist jerk circle today. Determined to bring back 100 scalps, 100 Nazi scalps. Fuck this bitch. Like, they've got a hilarious meme out about her already. They're calling her Moldy Locks. And she's out there playing the victim, and she was throwing glass bottles at people. She was trying to start shit, and then she got blasted in the face, and now she's just like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm just a little girl. I didn't do nothing wrong. You know what? If you're going to throw glass bottles and you're going to bring back 100 scalps and you're starting shit, you're going to get blasted in the face, and you probably deserve it. So fuck that chick.
You want to hear what my thoughts on that particular issue is?
All right, let's
hear it. A lot of women, there's a lot of, especially the women that are in these kind of movements, they are so pro-women getting equal rights, and they want everybody to be in the same playing field until they want to fight and start shit and get fucking wrecked. And then they want to play the innocent woman. I'm a woman. You can't hit me. I'm so much weaker than the men. Why are you touching women? Blah, blah, blah. It's like those women that just blast people. Like, they'll get in a man's face and punch him in the face 32 times. And then finally the dude just snaps, knocks him the fuck out, and that dude's going to jail. Or that dude gets blasted on the media as being a scumbag. If these people are going to march for all these equal rights and shit, if they're going to act like men counterparts around them, they're going to have to deal with the consequences when that happens. So I'm not about hitting women, but sometimes it's just going to happen. And the thing is, I'm not like a right-wing dude. Like, I'm a lot more moderate, but I mean, there's a lot of progressive shit that I totally agree with. But these fucking retards, that's not how you get your message across. Like, you think about the most successful protests in history, it's always been the nonviolent ones. Like, the people that did the most were, you know, the original women's rights movement to get like the rights to vote. You get the civil rights movement. It was all peaceful opposition. And you got fucking Gandhi. Like, all those people, they didn't like throw fucking Molotov cocktails to shut down the people that were speaking out against them. That's just not how it works. Did you know what Antifa was doing? They were throwing sticks and rocks and skateboards at people during this whole thing. Nobody reported that, and no mainstream reported it. And
the thing is, the worst thing of all is when you try to disrupt and prevent people from speaking at universities and all that stuff, and you're celebrating that you're silencing these people and not even letting them speak. Those are the tactics of the people you're trying to fight. You know, that's what fascists do. They violently keep their opposition from getting a chance to speak out. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's not how it works. If you want to, like, beat someone, you fucking debate them. You fucking smash them with facts and evidence and have better ideas. But you don't just prevent them from speaking. That's not how it works. That's not how America works. And that's what pissing me off is I'm more on the side of these free speech advocates and all these Trump supporters, even though I'm fucking a Bernie dude, because the Antifa guys are such fucking dumb fucks.
Oh, they
it makes me sympathetic to them. You know what I mean?
Let me throw out some irony.
Violence, you make the opposite side sympathetic.
And they're going to lose. If they want to take a violent approach, they will lose every time. Mm-hmm. They're on the wrong side of tracks when it comes to that. But you know what I find ironic with these people? They all wanted Hillary, right? That was like their person that they wanted. And what I find hilarious is that their whole premise is anti-fascism, right? Well, fascists believe that like democracy is basically should not be existing, like it's obsolete. And then so they want everything to be like a totalitarian, like a one-party thing, a one-party state. They want everything to be controlled by a dictator. They want everything to be controlled by the government. And, led basically everything militaristic. Everything is basically controlled at the top, and it's a one government party, and it's worldwide, New World Order type shit. Well, that is what Hillary was trying to do. Hillary is a fascist. Hillary wanted a one-party government for the whole entire world, that she wanted everything controlled at the top of the level, and she was saying that it was basically, we're going to give health care to these people, we're doing all this stuff, but no. Everything was controlled at the top. She is fascist to the core. They all are. Obama. They all have.
All right.
Fascist.
They're not fascists. Come on.
Are you shitting
I am
me?
so sick of people being called fascists that are not fascists. That's not how, like, people exaggerating and stuff.
How was that exaggerating?
You were
That's
just
literally
bringing
what
up
they wanted.
You know what I mean? You were just bringing up how people calling everybody fascist that never lived through fascism. They don't even know what fascists are. And you're doing the exact same thing. Now you're going to call Hillary and Obama fascists.
How are they not fascist? The definition of fascism is exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted a one-party state. They wanted everybody to be controlled by a one-party state, which the government in total would be the dictator. They weren't. This is not some.
Fascism is an authoritarian and nationalistic system of government and social organization.
No, fascists believe
that is the literal definition.
Okay, I'll give you a literal definition. Fascism believe that liberal democracy is obsolete, and they regard complete mobilization of society under a one totalitarian party state as necessary to prepare the nation for any armed conflict or any conflict economic difficulties.
There's no fascists on either side of this debate. No, there's just people that have extremely different opinions on how things should be. That doesn't mean that there's fascists on either side. Like, I think they're both wrong. They're both too far to each side. Like, I
think that they worship people with fascist ideology, that it's amusing to me that they want to call Trump a fascist when Trump is literally the opposite.
I just think he's dumb.
He may be dumb, that's fine.
And he's on it, and he's too open. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the politicians, they always were like so protected, like they never really wanted to give away what they were really thinking, and they're always trying to do everything the most politically correct way. And Trump is just out there, just whatever's at the top of his head, he just will let it fly. And I mean, for some that's good, and for some that's bad. But that doesn't make him a fascist. I don't agree with most of the things he says. But you know what I mean?
He's not even close to a fascist. He's not even close to a fascist. Not even
neither side is a fascist.
It's especially Trump. I personally think that Hillary and Obama have fascist qualities to them, and I'm not calling them all out fascist. I'm saying that they have the qualities that describe a fascist government. They have certain qualities. I don't see Trump having any of those qualities at all. So it's ironic to me that they would even be labeling Trump and having this Antifa movement against Trump. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they have an entire movement that's followed by 270-some thousand people on Facebook alone. It's like those people are just so ignorant, and they just don't know where they come from. They have no idea. They're privileged people that have bought into this idea that they're supposed to feel guilty, but they use their privilege.
I can support you in that department because, I mean, honestly, that the whole Antifa movement is incredibly stupid. It basically is all about silencing your opposition instead of debating them, instead of, conflicting ideas. It's all about just our idea is the idea. You know what I mean? So that actually is, like, basically the whole point of the Antifa movement is being fascist. I will side with that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Obama and Hillary are out there telling people to do it. I just think there's a bunch of fucking whiny bitches that didn't get their way, and they're just trying to do whatever it takes to fight back, and they're being complete morons about it.
Well, I think the mainstream media, which is controlled, by a lot of leftist policies, that's
true.
That they are pushing this agenda from behind the scenes. It's almost like you can brainwash anybody because the media is where people get their information from. So I think that our nation is more woke up now than ever, and that's why you're having such almost like a civil war type situation.
That the nation's woke up. I think people are just getting deceived left and right. Like everybody has so many biases on both sides that hardly anybody ever gets the full story. So I don't know. It's just really frustrating right now to me.
Yeah, I don't like how we're supposed to have a situation where we're always getting information, but what we have is CNN and we have Fox News literally reporting the exact opposite of each other, and those are supposed to be trusted media sites. Like, so who do you trust?
The media is supposed to be a giant check on the government, and they kind of stopped doing that. Like they're trying to do it a lot now with Trump, but they weren't they feel like they lost their goal because they were kind of lulled into a sense of sleep with Obama, and now they have to go after Trump because they felt like they caused Trump by giving people a false sense of security and stuff. And that's not how it should work. They should always be checking the government regardless of who's in power. So
they were also too scared to even criticize Obama for fear of certain repercussions. That's what what's in the chat. Anybody have anything to say?
Brett said, well, let's see. Steve Major said Antifas are LARPing revolutionists. He called her Pewbacca Moldylocks. And then Brett Lobb said, I don't always hit women, but when I do, it's fascists. Stay thirsty, my friends.
I don't know, man. So part of me just wants to go down to one of those rallies and just fuck people up.
Well, that's the really stupid thing is when you see the video violence, there's 4 people fighting, and then there's 50 people taking video of it. That's not a fucking violent rally. That's just a couple people fucking role playing a violent rally. And then everybody else is just trying to record it so that they can go post it on Facebook.
That's society in general. How horrible is that? Every time you see something terrible on Facebook, there's always 50 people surrounding that could have stopped it, but they're too busy cheering it on, and they're too busy filming the shit instead of helping people. You get situations where there's a guy that he got some jail time because there's a fatal car accident. Instead of helping people, he just started filming the inside of the car and didn't call 911 until he was done. Yeah, that's normal. That's what happens in society these days. You got people knocking out old elderly people just to put that shit on media. It's just horrible. Nobody gives a shit. We're all dehumanized these days. Nothing. We don't really see each other as equals, which is funny that you have these huge movements, and it's those people don't even see people as equals.
All right. Well, now that I got you worked up, I think it might be time for the Brandon Sharples rant of the week. Oh.
Yeah. It's not really much this week. There's some things that I've noticed that's happening in a society these days, and it happens to do with women and men. Now, what I've noticed is that back in the day when I was younger, women were always sort of the committed one in the relationship. They're always the one that was, having to deal with the emotional setbacks of a relationship, and the men were just the dicks, and they, they're the cheaters, they're the guys that always had to do the manly thing and blow their women off. Well, I've noticed that there's like a gender reversal in the society these days. I've noticed that more men are more willing to commit to women, and they want that sort of lifestyle. And the women are now the ones that are cheating, and they just want fuck buddies, and they want to live the free lifestyle and just bang whoever they want, and they cheat and they lie, and it's a complete gender reversal of the things that I grew up with, and I don't understand it. I wish that I can understand the way that the women are thinking these days, but I find it to be kind of like pathetic in a way. It's ruthless, and it's starting to pour over into like motherhood. Now women are having children, but they're still living that lifestyle, that kind of like go out and getting fucked up, drinking, driving type thing. That lifestyle, it's starting to spill over into motherhood. Back in the day, once a woman had children, she was in a relationship that she was devoted to her kids, and now I see that more and more women are having babies, and they're still devoted to the party lifestyle. They're still devoted to the cheating lifestyle. They put their families as a back burner. That's my personal opinion of the way society is, running these ways. You see more and more single dads taking care of kids now than you ever had before, and that's just, I guess it's just not really a rant, but more of an observation. So if there's any ladies out here listening that are cheating on their boyfriends or husbands or having kids and still getting fucked up all the time, you need to reevaluate your life. And same goes with the men, but it seems that I'm seeing more and more women. So get your shit together, ladies. That's it, Hemmy.
Sorry, I had myself muted. I didn't want to interrupt your rant of the week. But yeah, get your shit together, ladies. Yeah. All right. One last segment, and then I don't know. Do you have any bets to give out? I just want to know, just for.
Sure, go ahead. I'll
okay.
give you.
Did you want to do that now, or do you want to wait till after
go
Gems?
Go ahead and go with the Hemm's Gems. That's fine.
All right, it's time for Hemm's Gems.
Wow, winning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have 3 videos for you this week. The first one, or actually, they're not all videos. One is a TV series. If you haven't checked this one out, it's called Legion. It's on either FX or FXX. It's awesome. Like, you guys all know about all the superhero television series that have come out. There's Arrow, there's The Flash, there's, you name it, there are a shit ton. Daredevil, Jessica Jones or whatever. But I think Legion might be the best one. It's based off of like the X-Men universe, and it's told way different than all the other shows that are like serial, episodic, where there's some bad guy in every episode and they have to take him out and everything's formulaic. Legion is far from that. It's based around a guy that's basically the most powerful mutant in existence, but he doesn't know it because his schizophrenic and his mind is super, super fucked up. So he is just prone to like these outbursts that can like take out a fucking city block and shit. So highly recommend you check this out. I don't want to give away too much about it, but Legion, it is insanely good. And it's not really told like a superhero story. So I think you guys would like it, even if you're not a fan of superhero shows. And then other than that, I think you guys should check out there's a book I read over the last week. It was pretty good. It's a famous book. A lot of people have heard of it, but it's called Slaughterhouse 5 by Vonnegut. Really good. Kind of a story within a story about the firebombing of Dresden in World War II, and the main character being a prisoner of war at the time. Really, really good book. Highly recommend you check it out. And it's not like this is some big new thing. It's been around for a long time, but it's really good. And then I finally got around to reading it, and if you hadn't, you should check it out. So those are my gems for the week.
Word.
All
right, man. As far as bets go, I like the Clippers are playing the Jazz. I like the under at 197. Jazz they're at home. They have one of the best Ds in the league. And I think that's going to be a lower scoring game. As far as I like Boston +2 against the Chicago Bulls. I like them to rebound. And one more, I'll take San Antonio over the Grizzlies. They're giving up 3.5. So San Antonio -3.5. Boston +2, and I like the under at 197 in the Utah Jazz game. Those are my 3 bets.
All right. We will update all of that information on our Facebook page and on the website. So I think that just about does it for this week's show. Are there any last words you wanted to get out before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I'm just going to tell everybody about our plans. Hemmy's going to get his new camera, and we're going to try and do this show on the sports blog, talk radio, or whatever. But we're going to also Facebook Live it, and we're going to have to dual screen it, so you'll be able to see us, and we'll do this on Facebook Live as well as the blog talk radio. So you'll be able to see us from now on. So hopefully that all works out. We're going to do some test runs with that over the next week until the next episode, but hopefully we'll have that all squared away, and from now on you'll be able to see and you'll be able to chat with us on Facebook, which will be a lot easier. I've noticed a lot of people can't chat with us on Blog Talk. So last time I went live, we had 200 and some comments just fucking around. So I feel like if we can get that Facebook Live going, you guys can just comment there. We'll have a lot more to talk about. So a little bit more engaging.
Absolutely. All right, good shit. So we're still going to work out the kinks. And yes, we are planning on doing some mailbags and shit. I thought the feedback that we gave to Brandon this week was hilarious, and we're going to be more than willing to get your feedback for next week's episode as well. We want to hear your questions. We'll answer whatever you guys have to say. You can message us on our Facebook page. You can just send a message to the At Odds Podcast Facebook page. We also have an email, atoddspodcast@gmail.com. So anything you guys want to send to us, please send it our way. We will answer whatever you say, no matter how stupid it is, because I think it can be very funny. And then we have, obviously, our Facebook page, At Odds Podcast on Facebook. We are At Odds on At Odds Podcast on SoundCloud. We have At Odds Podcast on YouTube. So subscribe to us there. We post all our episodes on YouTube, plus we break down some of the segments into specific sections. So highly recommend you guys check us out on YouTube as well. So I think that'll about do it.
I do got to say something. Hey, if Rich from Milwaukee is listening to this, please come back and listen. I'll try to keep my cussing at a minimum. I don't know if he was talking about me or if he was talking about the interview with Sean, because Sean said the F word.
No, it was from episode 1, actually. So
really?
It had to be you. Yeah. Like your introductory statement that you had about yourself.
All I said was I'd fuck you up if you talk shit and didn't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and listen. I don't know. That's just all I heard.
Whatever. Fine. Fuck you, Rich. No, I'm just kidding. We love all you listeners. Give us some feedback. See you later.
All right. Get trolled, bitches.
la 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 la